What up, Unstoppables? We have a great episode today, but real quick, we want to invite you to make the most important investment of your life. It's not a secret. There's no smoke and mirrors. I'm not even trying to pull a fast one on you. I'm going to be pretty straightforward. The best investment you can make in your life is in yourself. And the best way to invest in yourself is by investing in your network, putting time and energy, surrounding yourself with the best. You are the average of those you surround yourself with. In that Restaurant Unstoppable network, I made it easy. Over the past 12 years and 1,200 plus episodes, I've been researching and talking to people and trying to figure out how do you become successful in the restaurant industry. And I've curated a network of tools, services, technologies, and individuals, experts that I would go to tomorrow if I'm opening a restaurant. And I'm bringing you to that network with live events, whether it be a workshop, a mentoring session, a power hour, or access to me twice a month where I just listen and steer you in the right direction, all happening at Restaurant Unstoppable Network. Head over to restaurantunstoppable.com/live. You also get this amazing access to all the recordings, RU Network podcast, which includes bonus ad-free and early release content. It also gives you access to our Unstoppable bot. It is a custom AI agent that is fed with 1,200 plus transcripts, over 2,400 hours of transcripts plus bonus content, all cross-referenced with our database. This is a powerful AI tool that you also get access to as well. What are you waiting for? Head over to restaurantunstoppable.com/live and we'll see you there. This episode made possible by Restaurant Systems Pro. With excitement, allow me to introduce to you today's guest, chef owner and director of operations at La Barbecue, Alison Clem. My lady Alison, are you feeling unstoppable today?
I am. Hello. Good morning.
Good morning. I am stoked to be here. The city of Austin loves you. I've been driving around asking people who should I talk to, Your name keeps on coming up, and I know this is going to be good. And congratulations on the recent Michelin Star. And this isn't the first time, is it? Or is it?
First time for Michelin Star?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, definitely.
Oh, is it? Oh, man, I can't wait to hear about how this has changed things, if at all.
I mean, it's been pretty crazy. I'm very fortunate. Yeah, it's still shocking to me that we even got it.
Well, I'm sure it's well deserved. I can't wait to get into it. Before we dive into who you are and how you got to where you are today, let's get that motivational, inspirational ball rolling with a success quote or a mantra. What do you got for us?
Can't stop, won't stop.
Can't stop, won't stop. Oh, my a lady after my own heart. Why is that the quote you chose today?
I say it constantly. It's just, it's like you always keep moving forward. Everything can always be better. Just when you think that everything's perfect, it can be more,
Yeah.
Or it's that creative outlet for me in food. And I just always am thinking on how I can push forward more and make it better.
Yeah. I mean, it's that easy and that hard, right? Just keep showing up and don't stop.
For sure.
That easy, right?
Oh, yeah.
Everybody can do that
Sure,
until you have to show up. No, but honestly, a great way to get this thing started. And before we kind of go back in time, help me understand, where is La Barbecue today? Where is Chef Ali today? What is your business? What does your portfolio look like?
Oh, man. Well, we have really received a ton of accolades through the years. I'm really bad with keeping up with them just because I honestly received them and be like, thank you so much. This is incredible. And then just move on. What's next?
Yeah.
But I mean, we've been top 50 barbecue in Texas Monthly since 2012.
That's amazing.
And the list comes out again this year, and I'm hoping to get top 10 for the first time. But still, top 50 is incredible. I mean, think about how many barbecue places there are in Texas alone.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. To continue to move up that list since 2012 must be a challenge, because there's literally, like you said, there's so many barbecues. So that's a testament to your constant growth.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, it's just to even be, considered in the top 50 is fairly incredible. And, we've always made the top 50, but I'm really kind of hoping, as we move forward and as I've really just immersed myself into this business even more and cooking and recipe development, that it pushes us forward on that list.
Always growing.
Yes.
Can't stop, won't stop.
That's right.
I love this. So one location, correct me if
Yes,
I'm wrong.
that's correct.
One location, how many seats? How many, like, on a good day, full? I mean, you have some outside seating too, I think I saw.
We can sit about 100 people total inside and out.
Okay.
About 80 probably comfortable. We have definitely sat about 100 people in and out.
And would you say it's counter service? Or do you have
Yes, that's correct.
counters?
So like traditional barbecue service is where you go to the counter and you order the meats by the weight, which is kind of like a deli style situation. So, so you come in, we do one group at a time. So everybody gets, that time with the meat cutter, with my staff, ask questions, really kind of decide what you want and then go forward. Now we do try to go as fast as possible because we do have a line, but we also don't want to push people too quickly, so they do feel comfortable. And a lot of people aren't, familiar with, ordering by the weight, which is not a typical situation usually in restaurant.
Yeah. And what I love about that is I feel like, with barbecue joints have this reputation of just kind of being like all about just like moving people through the line, but you can choose to slow down. You can choose to make it more intimate and to really like educate the staff and create that experience. And I love that that's probably a big part of the reason why you guys get the awards, because you make it intimate.
Well, we also, people are very excited to be here, which, we really, love. We want people to, they are going to wait. And unfortunately, it is sometimes about a 2.5 hour wait on a Saturday. And so we understand, that you're taking your time out of the day, like an entire day sometimes, just to eat here. So we do want to give people a little, like, our attention when they do get to the counter.
Yeah. All right. The big question.
Sure.
The question everybody wants to know, are you operating in the black?
Oh, yeah. We are, of course, different years and fluctuate, especially, if it's really hot outside. Right. And, it just depends. Seasons change with, how busy we are. But yeah, we've been really good. All of our debts have been paid off. Awesome. And, we just have been, which I actually did this past year. And so now we're just kind of moving forward.
Yeah, and don't, like, what would you say? Can't stop, won't stop,
Can't
right?
stop,
and like when people start, like, maybe it wasn't always the case, right? But over time, you figure things out. You develop the relationships, the volume increases over time, and you get better at the cost of goods and the labor, and you can move that needle over time. Was that the case for you guys, or was it always like big gangbusters out of the gates?
Oh, no. Of course, mistakes have been made, and we learn through our mistakes around here, and I think that a lot of people do that, but it's, as we've moved forward, I have learned, like, what is good for our bottom line, and what allows us to make that money, to keep going, to pay my staff, of course, my bills, my taxes, and
yep.
And so as we've grown, it's definitely gotten better for sure.
Can you share a percent profit?
Above
10%? Below?
It's probably above 10%.
Okay. Yeah. Prime costs on average, labor and cost of goods.
Man. Well, here's the deal. It's really hard in general with meat. Because we are literally 90%.
It's not getting any cheaper.
No. And so I have unfortunately had to raise my prices for that reason. But, it's I also pay my staff like a living wage, of course, more than a lot, of places do. And so I just want to make sure that, that they come to work and they work so hard and I can pay them to actually travel and whatever else they want to do.
And I ask these questions, are intrusive questions, and I know it's not what you like. You don't go around typically asking questions about this kind of stuff to strangers, right? But it's what I'm trying to do is, one, create a reality in the industry that even the most quote unquote successful people in the industry are struggling right now. Mm-hmm. And why is that? And like, what are the best doing to move that needle? And how can we all learn from the best? And I think it's also important to know that different restaurant business models have different price points. So like,
for sure,
it's good to get this perspective, right? And that's really all I'm trying to do. Labor costs, where are we at with that? Like, is that
Oh man, my labor is absolutely out of control, but I allow for that.
Okay.
I mean, I mean, some of my employees I've had for a long time. I mean,
Yeah.
Francisco has been working with me since 2012, and so as we grow, I mean, I raise him, and I a cap on that is I don't. I mean,
Right.
probably not. I mean,
Right. Yeah, you have to do it. And like one of the things I've been saying on the show, it's getting harder and harder to do the right thing. It's the cost of food is going up, cost of goods is going up, cost of labor is going up, and the consumer is kind of at a breaking point with what they're willing to spend to support the industry. So like it's a very scary line to walk, right?
For sure.
And I think it's reasons like this where people say if you're not growing, you're dying, because if you don't grow, then like where's Francisco gonna go? Like he has to be a part of that growth, right?
Of course.
Yeah. So what about catering? Do you guys do catering or anything like that?
So we're such a small crew, right? And I know that catering is a fantastic outlet for a lot of restaurants, and I know we used to do some offsite catering, and we would do it like maybe once a month or so, just whatever like we had actual time and staff for. And these days, we just really have people pick it up for self-serve, because I mean, my crew here, they work 4 days a week, but they work into the 30s in that, in their hours. And so I will pick up some in-house catering that is a little bit of extra bonus for them on that end. But as far as like catering goes, I know we can do it. It's just I don't want to overwork my staff.
Right. No, it's fair. So the majority of your revenue is coming from that front door at your counter.
For sure.
Got it.
Yeah.
Anything else that we should know about in terms of the business model, or like how you guys have money coming in?
I mean, I've also went into Austin FC this year.
What's that?
Our soccer stadium.
Got it.
And so I'm selling food out there. We do sandwiches, loaded mac and cheese, and stuff like that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I was actually really fortunate because my staff actually wants to work it with me.
Okay.
So I didn't have to outsource staff.
Nice.
For it. Right.
So this is kind of like a food hall situation, like a vendor stand.
Right.
Got it.
Yeah.
Sweet. Awesome. All right, cool. Let's go back in time. So where does it make sense to start sharing the story?
I mean, I would have to say from the very beginning, actually before La Barbecue, to be quite honest. I mean, I've been in the restaurant industry since I was 18. I turned 44 this year.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. It's February.
Recently? February.
No,
Oh, okay.
February.
44. Hey, you look good for 44.
Thank you.
make
I
44
can thank
look
my
good.
mom for that.
Yeah.
But, I started, working, as like a hostess when I was 18 years old, and then kind of moved up through there. I worked at Chili's in East Texas. So I went to Stephen F. Austin in Nacogdoches, Texas. And kind of worked my way up through there, and then moved to a different restaurant, got into the management side of it, and through kind of like spots here and there, I would move to the back of house, and I really found myself loving like the back of house more than the front of house for many reasons.
Okay.
And it's just that fast-paced work, like very hands-on. It was just so enticing to me. And so that's just kind of how I started cooking in restaurant in general.
Okay. And how long were you working? Did you ever take a break from restaurants?
No.
So you've been in since 18 years old. So what were the biggest points of evolution for you? Like you started working at 18 for money, and at some point, did you say this is going to be my career?
No, actually, I mean, I was in college for nutrition, and I really just kind of wanted to get into like education of nutrition in like schools and smaller towns, because I really found out through all of, like all these small towns in East Texas, there weren't a lot of grocery stores at all. So people were eating like gas station food or fast food.
You don't have to get far out of Austin.
No.
To realize that there's not a lot of options, unless you're on 35.
Right.
Like I'm staying about 20 miles or just southeast of the airport by Circuit of USA in that area. And I went for a bike ride. Like I continued to head southeast, and it's like you can see the city on the horizon. You're not far from it, but like you go like 20 miles out, in like a direction that's not on, or north or south off of 35, and like you're in a different place.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, it's definitely a huge change if you even just drive. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So I really just, it was wild to me that, these kids didn't have education on food. And I grew up, my mom always cooked, like 5 meals a week, and it was always like fairly healthy. And
you grew up in Fort Worth, right?
I did, yes. And so I just kind of wanted to carry that through. Well, life happens and you get sucked into the restaurant industry.
Yeah, it chooses you, right?
Yeah, it does.
Well, I mean, it's still closely tied to nutrition, and I think,
for sure.
I think that the restaurant, if that's a passion of yours, is creating awareness and like public health, like the restaurant industry is, I think, the best positioned industry to create that awareness.
Oh, for sure.
With your actions, So is that still a big part of your passion today?
I mean, I eat fairly clean, honestly. Yeah. And when I cook at home, I really try to make it as healthy as possible. And I'm really not that big of a red meat eater. I'm more of like a veggie kind of fish, and leaner proteins, honestly. But, after being in the restaurant, in the barbecue industry, specifically for so long, it's like you really just kind of look at it as a product.
Right.
It's like, yes, I know I can literally look at it and like just tell if it's correct or not.
Yeah. So you said you got management experience during this time.
Yes.
So you started as a server, you were bartending at one point, and then you were doing management. So at what point of your evolution were you managing? How far into, like, were you in your mid-20s at this point when you were managing?
Yes, I was, mid-20s for sure.
Okay. And how did you find yourself in that management role? Like, what was the intention behind that?
I just really wanted to kind of move up, if you will. I felt like, as I was getting older, I needed a little bit more experience and not just having, wait staff or bartending experience. And I feel like with management, it was like the next step for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where were you working again? What kind of restaurant was it?
So I moved to Clear Springs, and they had also antipastas. So it was 2 restaurants, 1 building, and the building is pretty incredible. It was the first refrigerated warehouse west of the Mississippi.
Oh, cool.
And it is super haunted, by the way.
Oh, really? I love buildings like that.
I mean, I sat with taps one night, and
oh, really?
Yes, it was crazy.
Is that on? Is that recorded? Is that a season episode?
Oh, I'm sure.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's.
Do you know the title of the episode?
I don't. It's been so long, but it was. I mean, we kept all of our dry storage in the attic, and so I would have to go and do inventory, for my order every single day, and I just felt like this eerie, like, and I don't know if it's just because it's the old building, but it still has like in like along the, because it's on a train track, and so.
Makes sense to offload the product right into their freezer.
So their refrigeration like area is still there. It's like these concrete rooms.
What city is this in?
In Nacogdoches, Texas.
How far is that from here?
It's about 3.5.
Close to Houston?
3:45. Yes, it's about an hour and 45 from Houston.
I'm driving straight past that area on my way back east. I might have to make a stop.
Yeah, Clear Springs. And so, it's a fairly large restaurant, and so I was, and the management manages both sides of the restaurant, both restaurants, so Clear Springs and Antipastas. So it's like a, pasta Italian side, and then the other side was like steaks and catfish, and they have they're known for their onion rings that are really good.
So this is like 2005 ballpark, I'm thinking? If I'm doing the math.
Yeah, probably. Let's see. I moved here in 2010, so it was probably about, 2008.
8-ish?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. At the end of your experience in management, like, what were you feeling? Like, what was the vision for Allie?
Well, I had been in East Texas for 10 years at that point, and, living and growing up in a city, I really didn't see any movement for me there, and I didn't really want to stay in my college town forever. And as people do, I went through a breakup, and so it just really kind of allowed me to make some changes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So my cousin Clay and his husband live here, and they're like, just come live with us. And so I packed up my clothes, my dogs, my TV, put everything else in storage, and drove to Austin. And
I love Austin.
Oh yeah, it's I mean, in the restaurant industry around here, it is cutthroat. I came to Austin thinking I had this great resume. Wrong. Absolutely not. Like everybody else, is like 10 times better than me. And
so you're looking to continue your career in food and beverage at this point. So you're in. Like, this is what you want to do.
Right.
What up, Unstoppables? This episode is made possible by Restaurant Systems Pro. If you are a listener of Restaurant Unstoppable, I know you've heard me mention Restaurant Systems Pro, but just in case you haven't heard of it yet, it is a all-in-one enterprise solution. All the most critical systems that will help you become profitable. I'm talking about costing. I'm talking about inventory management. I'm talking about budgeting. I'm talking about labor management. I'm talking about training. The list goes on, all under one roof, tied to your general ledger, and they have their own POS, and they integrate with nearly every major POS out there. Restaurant Systems Pro is an amazing tool, and this is the thing that gets me really excited. When you join Restaurant Unstoppable Network, you get access to the CEO of Restaurant Systems Pro, Fred Langley, twice a week for a P&L Power Hour. He literally will let you open up your P&L, share it on the screen, and he will help you close the gaps and increase your profitability. You do not have to be a Restaurant Systems Pro user to benefit from these live events. He doesn't care. We're just here to help you. Head over to restaurantunstoppable.com/RSP to get the full playlist of every Restaurant Systems Pro episode, a link to all the testimonials. And if we haven't sold you on Restaurant Systems Pro by then, I don't know what else to do. But if you really want to up your Restaurant Systems Pro experience, be sure to join Restaurant Unstoppable Network too. All right, guys, one more time, head over to restaurantunstoppable.com/RSP. What's your vision for yourself at this point? You have dreams?
I mean, at that point, I really just kind of wanted to find a job in management because that's what I was used to.
Yeah.
I also, that's getting my feet wet here in Austin. I applied for a bunch of management jobs and didn't get any of them.
Wow. I mean, man, have the tides turned in the restaurant industry.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
But I wasn't local,
Right.
so, and usually they're looking for somebody local.
Right.
Especially in management.
Got it.
Yeah.
So would you say your job in management set you up for success? Like, did you, knowing what you know now about restaurant operations, where would you rate yourself back between 2005 2010 when you're getting this experience?
I feel like it gave me a little bit more confidence.
Yeah.
Honestly. Of course, I had to humble myself moving to Austin, not knowing anybody really, I had some friends that lived here, but and not an experience in this city. But I still moved forward, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to get any job I can get my hands on.
Okay.
So I picked up a job as a barista in Westlake. Worst job of my life.
What didn't you like about being a barista?
Oh my God. Well, I mean, I'm up early anyways, but having to be there at 5 a.m., which is fine. It's just, I don't know. It just, I don't want to talk shit, but it's just kind of like.
Was it the work or the place you were working or the type of clients you were serving?
No, I actually really enjoyed working with the people that worked there, and my manager, and then the owner, Al. He was super nice. It was also like a wine shop too.
Okay.
So, and I'd never been a barista. So honestly, I looked at it as like, oh man, I'm like adding to my skill list.
Yeah, this kind of reminds me of Opus on South Lamar. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've been there a couple of times. I used to live in Austin, and that was the spot that I would go hang out and get my work done. But cool vibes. Sounds similar to that situation.
Yeah. And I also had to drive all the way out to Westlake, and that was a pain in the ass, but that's fine.
Yeah.
But during that time, my background had been a lot in bar. I've worked in pretty much every bar that I could get my hands on, from venue type to speed bar to, restaurant bar, just whatever. So I picked up a bartending job downtown at a bar called Rusty's. It's not there anymore, but
5th Street?
On 5th Street, yes. I think it's a whiskey bar now or something.
Do you know Jason Currier?
It's not familiar.
He would have been on 6th Street around that time. I had him on the show. He's behind Mama Betty's now, which just opened, which is killing it in North Austin. Yeah. So when does LaAnn come into your life? Because we're only 2 years.
This is when LaAnn comes into my life. So, bartending one night, LaAnn walks in with her friend, and she was actually sober at the time. Which was very refreshing, honestly, to talk to somebody that wasn't like hammered or being weird and creepy and,
on Fifth Street.
Right.
Yeah.
And, and she was like, I'm a photographer. And I was like, oh, cool. Not, I mean, I had, just being a bartender, you get people that gives you your number and blah, 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 blah all the time. So I was just kind of like, whatever. But, there was just something about her that, really just kind of struck me a little bit. And she was a super creative, which I am absolutely attracted to, people who are, vibrant and creative. And of course, she wrote on this napkin, like, her website and, whatever else. And of course I went back to the back and was like, Brian, my manager. And I was like, look up this website. And he was like, oh, she's legit. And I was like, all right. So, I really wasn't ready to get into a relationship because I had gone through a really bad breakup, and I was really kind of trying to find myself in Austin.
Yeah.
And she would not let it go.
Well, you reached out to her, huh? You followed up.
Well, I did give her my phone number, which never happened. And she texts me around like 9 a.m. or 8 a.m. Well, I don't get off of work until 3 a.m. And so I didn't call her. I didn't see her text or see that she had called. So, but then her mom ended up having a heart attack, and I didn't hear from her for a while. And she was going through a divorce as well with her current wife at that time. And so I hear from her for about a week later, and then we started hanging out.
Okay, so tell us more about LaAnn. Like, what was she doing prior to this? So photography, but she also she grew up in the industry of barbecue, right? She
did, but that wasn't honestly anything that she was doing at the time.
Yeah.
Of course, she grew up working at her family restaurant, LaAnn Mueller Barbecue in Taylor, Texas. Her and her brother, John, who I learned how to cook barbecue from. And she was like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. Her parents were like, do you want to take this over, you and Emily, her wife?
Got it.
And she was like, no, I don't. I want to be a photographer. So she sold everything that she had pretty much, saved up as much money as she possibly could, and moved to Santa Barbara. I went to the Brooks Institute.
Well, since she did well for herself in photography, it seemed like she had some great clients at least, or she took some good photos of some.
Oh, for sure. I mean, she was, she did album packaging. Back when album packaging actually had budgets and whatever else, and lots of celebrity portraits, and she really thrived. So really kind of everywhere else but Texas, LaAnn was known for photography. Now you get to Texas, and her family, and she's known, and her family is known for barbecue.
Right.
So she would get irritated with that, honestly, because she wanted to be known as a photographer.
She wanted to stand on her own.
Right.
Yeah. What a great skill to have, though, if you're a restaurant owner, to be able to promote and market yourself that, to create that, especially when Instagram is on fire and you have a talent for photography before the filters.
Oh, yeah. Know? Oh, I know. I mean, watching her edit was actually wild. It was so crazy because it was just firsthand, and she would just sit there and just edit her photos, and it was just crazy. And I was like, oh my God. She had an eye for it for sure.
Yeah, there's definitely a talent. I mean, these cameras right here, they are so I am not a photographer, but there's systems where you can just set it to auto, and it kind of guesses what you're trying to do, and just takes the perfect photo. And you're just but to develop that skill over time before the technology is the skill. And even today with the cameras, it's still a skill.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I wish I would have paid attention more, because I actually did work with her in photography, kind of right off the bat. I was I would be her assistant. I was her second or third assistant, of course, originally. And I learned a whole lot through her first assistants, and then eventually became her first assistant.
Got it. So 2000 2010 to 2012, what's going on in the world of LaAnn and Allie? Like, you guys are started dating. Mm-hmm. She eventually gets sucked. Like, what? Like, she didn't want anything to do with barbecue, but she opens her own spot. Like, what's going on?
No. So at that time, I think it was 2011, I believe, 2010 or 11. Anyways, her brother John Mueller, he'd had a few restaurants that were not successful.
Okay.
I won't, say much about that, but
got it.
And he got some investors, and he was going to open up a food truck. Well, this is like in the beginning of like all the food truck craze, around here in Austin.
Yeah.
And I had met him, and honestly, how it started was he hired one person, and he was Kevin Kelly, and he has a podcast about barbecue he has had for a long time. It's like Kevin's Barbecue Joints is what it's called.
Okay.
And Kevin had moved from California to help John in his new food truck venture.
Got it.
And he calls me, and I'm about to get off of work at the bar, and he was like, can you go get me some onions? I open up at 10 a.m. And I was like, John, okay, fine, whatever. So I go, and I get there, and he's like pacing back and forth, and he paced all the time. And I was like, what are you doing? I was like, this is it. This is what you got. And I was like, well, fine. I'll go home, shower, take a nap, and I'll be back. And then that's honestly how I got into barbecue.
So how did you know John before this?
I had met him. Just LaAnn was like, you need to meet my brother. And I was like, okay, we've been dating for like 2 weeks.
Plus the restaurant industry in Austin, like it's a small circle, small world.
Well, I mean, I had no idea who their family was.
Okay.
And, it wasn't, I was very new to this area.
So you're still bartending at this time. You guys are acquaintances. You're doing him a favor, running some onions. And then he said, this is not enough. And then you said, well, I'll be back after my shower. And that's how it all starts.
Right. And so his investors at the time hired me to run like the food truck.
Okay. Was the food truck La Barbecue or?
No, it was J. Miller Barbecue.
Okay, got it.
Yes.
And this is before 2012.
Right.
Got it. J. Miller. So how long are you working with John?
So I think I've been working there for a few months or so, and in true John fashion, he's really bad with money, and he was built to cook, not to run a business.
Yeah.
So his investors wanted out, and he was like, LaAnn, please buy this, I promise.
The food truck.
Yes. And I was like, absolutely not. I was like, because I've seen what was going on.
So you were saying to LaAnn, buy this?
No, he was like, please buy this.
He was saying that to LaAnn.
Yes.
So LaAnn's successful at this point with her career. She has money put aside.
Right.
She can take this over and basically bail him out.
Right. And so she did. Behind my back.
Oh, so you didn't want her to? So
no, because she was essentially buying a failing business.
Yeah.
And I mean, but so
But
John
you
was
were
like,
working for him at this time.
And so John was like, hey, LaAnn and I are going to go to lunch, which they did often. And I was like, okay, fine. I'll just be here doing everything. Don't worry about it. And
you're working the food truck at this time.
Right. And so they went to the bank, and they had everything set up already, blah, blah, blah. And she bought the business. Well, my eyes were open at that point. I was like, oh, yeah? Well, I just went from management to narc, because if LaAnn's going to own this business, it's going to be successful, and you're not going to put her in a bad spot.
Narc the John. So you're like, okay, like now you're pulling my life into this. This is my significant other.
Right.
Like, we're going to do this right if we're doing this.
Right, exactly. And plus, I don't want to work for a business that's not, thriving. You can't take pride in stuff like that.
Right. Well, I mean, would you say you learned a lot about the economics of a successful restaurant in management?
I mean, sure, as I went.
I mean, in the the early 2000s, like when you were getting your management, there weren't that many resources yet for people. Like, it was like owner.com was like the only thing. And that was like just starting to get big in the early 2000s. So like the information we have today is compared to what it used to be. Like, it was easy to not have a clue back in the day in terms of finances.
Of course.
It wasn't information that moved around often.
I mean, everything was handwritten.
It was people who could afford accountants that would be, like, or controllers that like knew like that stuff.
Well, even think about just like POS systems just in general. I mean, they've come so far in the last 10 years. And I mean, really, Aloha was the only thing that I was really, familiar with. Well, you can't put Aloha on a food truck. I mean, you want to invest, like 20 grand or something crazy. And so everything was like literally on an old school register. And we had the register tapes, and you'd run the Z at the end of the night. And it was but it was not accurate.
Yeah. I mean, and it gets people, even to this day, people are like, you're exhausted. Let's be honest. It's a lot of work when you're opening your restaurant. You're doing literally everything. By the time it's time to close up, it's 10 hours in, maybe even longer. You just want to go home and shower and try to get at least 6 hours of sleep before you have to do it all over again. So I get it. It's not easy. But you got to make time for those numbers, to make sure your cost of goods, your inventory, all that stuff, your budgeting, am I on track? Right.
I mean, and we learned a lot of lessons, just from having that just like very rudimentary, equipment, there's really it's really hard to balance anything with just like this, Z tape that comes from an old school register. So we got smart and hired an accountant.
Good.
Which I still have the same accountant to this day. She's my boss.
I mean, that's a huge lesson right there. Yeah, and they're there to keep you in line, right?
For sure.
So when did LaAnn purchase J. Miller Barbecue Food Truck?
I think it was in September of 2011, I believe.
So almost 2012.
Right.
Does the food truck become the barbecue?
Okay. Well, here's this transition, right? So I had kind of been keeping track of the things that John was doing that were not helping the business, if you will, right?
Got it.
And I had pretty much a list, and he was, just really bad with money.
How would John feel if we talked about what this list looked like?
He would probably deny it.
Okay.
And then I would dead eye stare him and be like, John, are you serious?
I don't want to cause any trouble, but I think it's important.
John's in heaven, so,
Okay. Okay. Or with family, extended family.
Yes.
What were these things? I think this is the kind of stuff I like to unpackage, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what were the things? I'm, from heaven, no disrespect, John, but it's just like, what
he
are
knows what he did.
Like, these things are these are opportunities to learn. Like, what were the things that you guys were doing wrong that you were like, okay, here's my laundry list.
Well, I mean, just right off the bat, I mean, he would just clear the register, balance it back to whatever the bank we went in there, and then take off with the cash. Well, you can't do that, obviously. Right. I mean, that cash needs to be accounted for many, many reasons. I mean, and back in the day, cash was used a lot more than it is now. So, I mean, it would be sometimes, $1,000 or something like that. Well, that needs to go into the bank because, all you have to account for every single dollar.
100%.
And so that right there would just drive me absolutely crazy. And, his inventory situation as well. Like, he would just either get too much and then just like let it rot or whatever. And I would have to throw so much out. And then, or he would just kind of like get lazy on his cooks, and we couldn't use the whole brisket, and some of it was so charred that, we couldn't even use it as chopped beef. And so we were just throwing out massive amounts of like inventory, that just wasn't being properly handled.
Yeah. So cost of goods out of control,
right.
Not having any cash flow management systems to make sure your money's going to where it needs to be. What were some of the other early rookie mistakes that were happening?
Paying taxes.
Oh yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
I'll swallow my pride and say that when I was starting this podcast, when you're getting started, everything you make is going towards covering your liabilities,
mm-hmm.
and it's not hard to realize that I didn't put that 10 or 15% of my income aside to cover my taxes, or I wasn't paying quarterly taxes.
Right.
Profit First saved me. I don't know are you familiar with Profit First?
Mm-mm.
It's a cash flow money management system where basically you use, it's the old school grandma envelope system is what it is. But instead of envelopes, you use checking accounts. So you have your income account, and then you have your tax account, and then you have your food tax account, then you have your your profit account, that's your money that you're putting aside for like assets or paying off debt. And then you have your owner's pay account. So you're making sure you're paying yourself because you need to be able to pay yourself.
Of course.
Or else you can't take care of other people. Then in your OPEX basically. So but the idea is like cover all of your liabilities, i.e. paying the IRS, paying putting profit aside so you can grow, and then covering your own personal liabilities. And then whatever is left over is how much money you have to run the business. So it forces a budget onto you. So like now that you've covered all of your liabilities, hey, this is what I have to work with. How much meat can I buy? Right. So it kind of forces you to be not wasteful, and it also determines your growth, because as things pick up, we're getting more money and we're covering our liabilities. Right. It's a great tool.
Oh, well, that's pretty much what my accountant does for me.
I love that.
Yeah, I mean, she's really, really implemented some really great habits for me and the business in general. So I mean, it's just, and I rely on her daily.
Yeah.
But I mean, paying tax is important. We also have, sales tax.
Right.
And that comptroller does not mess around. Well, John hadn't paid the comptroller and or the IRS, so it really kind of put us in a really bad spot.
Yeah, and that's the cool thing about Profit First is as soon as the money hits the income, and then like twice a month, I think you're supposed to allocate cash flow into those separate checking accounts. So like right off the top, like you're taking that 10% or 15%, whatever it is, and you're putting it away. You're not touching it until it's tax season or if you're paying your quarterlies. So like it's just like out of sight, out of mind. And what the cool thing is, you usually get money back at the end of the year, so there's like a bonus at the end of the year. So I don't know, it's a great tool. So you guys weren't doing the cash flow management. You weren't paying your taxes. You weren't, we were wasting with your food, a bunch of things. So you kind of bring this laundry list to LaAnn and be like, how does she handle that? This is after she purchased it?
Yes. And it wasn't like an I told you so situation, but that's how she kind of took it.
It's her brother. She must have had a clue.
I mean, yes.
Yeah.
But, that's her brother, and she loves and trusts him.
Right.
So, for some odd reason. But I will never forget, it was Halloween night. And John was also notorious for like, we're just not going to open tomorrow. And I'm like, over my dead body.
Yeah.
And was like, we already have briskets trimmed, seasoned, ready to go. He's like, no, we'll have a nice Halloween night. I was like, I'm at home, like literally about to get in bed. And he was like, and then LaAnn, I was like, no, John, I was like, I mean, I had been cooking too. So he just kind of like showed up at that point, which was, fine. And we had hired John Lewis, who had come from Franklin Barbecue. And John was with him that night. And anyways, so LaAnn got on the phone and was like, John, we just can't do this anymore. We have to open. You just can't just not open. I mean, and it just kind of shit hit the fan, and she fired him over the phone on Halloween night. It was fairly late, and it was like very emotionally charged, of course. And John had a huge following of a bunch of like a specific, I always say, group set of people. And they were his ride or die fans. And of course, the press was notified, immediately, and it just set the city on fire that we had fired John Mueller from his own restaurant that he owned. And
that's not possible.
Right. That's what I'm saying. And for no reason, and it was just, and we really kind of sat down and we're like, okay, well, what do we do now?
That doesn't happen ever for no reason.
Right. Of course. And, LaAnn still had to pay back the investors. I think it was like around $64,000 or $65,000. And that's what she still owed them. And then we also had taxes and, all this other stuff that we had to pay. And so we're like, well, we reconcept.
How much were you in the hole?
Oh my God. It was probably, several $100,000 at this point.
So, the taxes, the 40, the 60,000 he had owed investors.
Right.
what other vendor debt you probably had on top of that. I'm sure there was probably some.
There was a specific meat company, and I won't say because that was holding meat that we had already paid for, and they wouldn't release it. And then they said that they didn't have it, and they didn't know what we were talking about, and all this stuff. And they had it in a storage locker for him, and
so they were holding it for him,
right?
They were loyal
And
to him.
And then they sent us another invoice, and we wouldn't pay it because we're like, "Where's the meat? Like, we were not paying this." And it's because John had ordered meat, and then like that night, yeah.
Okay.
So
this is some rough stuff you guys had to deal with early on. I mean, how did you eventually climb out of this? Like, what was the strategy to rebrand and get out of the situation?
Well, I mean, we really just had to move forward, honestly. So that next day we got up there, and it was people were up there taking photos,
Of the food truck.
Yeah,
Was it a trailer?
Harassing us. Yes, it was a trailer.
Okay.
Just seriously, it got pretty dark pretty quick.
Is it 2012 by this point, or is it still
Yes.
fall of 2011?
It was 2012.
2012
yes.
at this point. Summer, winter, where are we?
So we opened November 3rd as La Barbecue. 3rd or 4th.
2012.
Right.
So this is a year into the kind of like working with
Right.
The brother-sister combination.
Right.
So you guys show up. The loyal Mueller fans are there. What was being said?
I mean, we were getting called names. People were threatening us. It was like a whole thing, and I'm like, this is a restaurant. This is like a food truck.
So they're
like,
just
why?
there, like with their like lawn chairs, just waiting for you guys to show up. So they give you.
Stand on the sidewalk because if they come onto the property, it's like a whole thing, and so they'd stand on the sidewalk and yell stuff at us, harass us, threaten to set our dumpsters on fire, and like mock us and all this stuff.
How long did this go on for?
Actually, we had to hire security.
Oh, wow.
It was a thing. But
do you think that press might have been positive in some way in hindsight, because there was just so much energy around this? People were curious. Look, are the ladies going to continue the quality? Like, what's going on?
What? And they were like, "Who do you think you are?" kind of thing. So really, okay. So what we did is we reconcepted the entire thing, including recipes, name, logo, whatever, everything, cooking processes, the entire thing.
Well, even though
in 3 days.
Yeah, LaAnn owned the intellectual property because she bought the business, right? So you didn't have to do that. There wasn't a lawsuit coming your way.
No.
But what was the point of the whole rebrand? Was it just to get away from the air? Or?
I mean, we didn't really need John's name, honestly, and we didn't want to.
Well, you had John's name,
of course, but
technically you have another Mueller who grew up in the same house.
Well, here's the thing: LaAnn wanted to kind of prove that we could do this in the barbecue community without her last name.
Okay. So you want to get away from the brand Mueller and that's where La Barbecue. Like, what is the play on La Barbecue? Like,
so La Barbecue is like feminizing barbecue. It's like the LA La.
Yeah.
Or
I love the branding, by the way. It's beautiful.
Thank you. Or LaAnn, LeAnn, or also LaAnn Alley.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. So you rebrand, and I'm sure with her background, LaAnn's background, that was a fun project. She probably has an eye for this sort of thing, I'm assuming. Sure. Yeah, you can tell.
Yeah.
How much has the brand changed since 2012?
Oh my gosh. So she did our original branding for it, and I actually came across the photo the other day, and it's, she did it like pretty much overnight.
Is it still here?
No, it was we just literally printed it on a big, canvas or whatever situation and hung it on the side of the trailer, and it's like an orange and white and looks like a flag. It's fairly hideous, I'm not gonna lie. But
come a long way.
Yeah.
So you guys do the rebrand, you make your own recipes. Was there a period where you were closed?
Just those 3 days.
3 days?
Yeah.
This all happened in 3 days.
Right.
And then you launch. How did it go with the new recipes and everything?
I mean, we had a line. I think people were curious to see what was going to happen, if it was going to be good or not.
Did you guys have a plan to pay off the debt? Because you said you hundreds of thousands of dollars. So
for sure.
Did you reach out to all the people who were affected? Like, this is the situation. Like, this is our strategy to pay you back.
Oh yeah, definitely. We took a bunch of meetings, of course, and saying, hey, this is what's going on. please be patient. We will pay you back.
Yeah. I know this is 13 years ago, but can you remember what that plan was? So like, what advice do you have for like, getting out of that debt?
It was literally saving everything that we could possibly get our hands on. And then, LaAnn and I literally the money that we needed to either pay our bills and rent and whatever else, I sold my car, it was just kind of like everything that we needed to do to get over this is what we were going to do.
Okay. I love that. And how long did it take to get out of that debt?
Oh man, I think it was the investment, we paid off the investors, I think it might have been a little over a year.
Oh, that's awesome. That's pretty good.
I think.
Hundreds of thousands. I'm curious.
So that was at 64 or 65,000. Now, as far as the IRS and all that kind of stuff went, we went through an audit and it was terrible.
Ugh.
And they penalized us for it. And I finally had paid that back, all of it, last year.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, congratulations on that.
Thank you. Feels good.
Yeah. So how long did it take for you guys with the food truck to get into the black?
I feel like, it took several years, I feel. And, we of course had to move around, which is always scary. But, as Austin grows, spaces become available or not available, especially in the food truck department. And we moved from South First because he wanted to raise our rent 50%. And he was like, I see you have lines. You can afford a $5,000 a month lease on this lot. And I was like, are you kidding me?
Let's go through real quick just the evolution of the barbecues from food truck. So 2012 food truck. What was the next move thereafter? What year was it?
So we moved from South First to 6th and Waller behind Uptown Sports Bar. We were there not even a year because, unfortunately, Ron Hernandez, who owned that lot, got into a really bad motorcycle accident and passed away.
Ouch.
Yeah, it was really, really unfortunate. So then we moved again to Cesar Chavez and I-35 Access Road, that big lot over there. And it was a food truck park. And we had some really we had some problems on that lot. Just for security reasons. The homeless community over there underneath the 35 bridge, was, and I didn't feel like anybody was safe working there, especially Francisco overnight. It was scary.
Yeah. Hungry people, desperate times, you need that security for sure.
Right.
So 2012, you moved from South First to 6th and Waller. That was in the first year.
Right.
You weren't there for more than a year before you moved to Cesar Chavez.
Right.
And that was 2013-ish?
I think so.
And then how many times did you move from 2013 on?
So we went, 35 Access, that's one on Cesar Chavez.
Yeah.
Then we moved next to what used to be Stay Gold on I think it's Comal over there and Cesar Chavez. And then we moved into the Quickie Picky. So we were done with the food truck at that point. We had grown too much.
What year was that?
That was how many years ago? What are we for? I think it was 7 years ago.
7 years ago. So 2018.
Yes.
So from basically 2012 to 2018, you are moving around. It's the same trailer, and you're moving around.
Maybe 17 because we were a food truck for 5 years.
Got it. And then you go to what is it called? The Quickie Picky?
The Quickie Picky.
The Quickie Picky. And this is what is that?
So it's like a bodega, if you will. It's like a little grocery store and coffee shop, and they also have beer on tap and wine and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they had a kitchen available. The guy who owned it was like, I don't want to run the kitchen.
So the past 8 years, you've gone from the Quickie Picky. How many stops before coming here?
So we were South First, 6th and Waller, Cesar Chavez.
Yeah.
So we had 5 food truck locations.
And then 2017, Quickie Picky.
Quickie Picky.
And then did you move again before coming here?
No.
And when did you find this spot?
So 2020 was a crazy time.
Yeah.
And
when did you find this spot? Was it before or after the pandemic?
It was after the pandemic.
Okay, that's probably good then.
So it was 2021. Yes, because we'll be 4 years in this building in May.
So you're 4 years at the building at the Quickie Piggy.
Yes.
All right.
No, 3 years at the Quickie Piggy. Will be 4 years here.
Okay.
In May.
Got it. So thank you for laying that out. Yes. So, what were like the growing in this time? Like, what were the biggest challenges early on? I mean, obviously, all the profit you're making is going back to paying off your debt. Mm-hmm. You guys aren't making any money personally because you're covering your liabilities, which is what you should do. Right. Take us through this journey of moving around, pain points, things you know now that you would just wish you could have known going into it, or things that the foresight you would give somebody who's trying to take a similar path that you took.
I mean, I would absolutely say, many things, honestly, but I'll just say recently, now that, and it's unfortunate, LaAnn passed away about 1.5 years ago.
Yeah,
and
I'm so sorry.
And I really have been able to have control of this place when I really didn't have full control of this place. So it was pretty much whatever LaAnn said, went. And I feel like that there was a lot of loss on a lot of different things, like a project she would abandon and whatever else. She just, either lose interest or whatever, and that's fine. But, it's just loss of money in general. Also, I save so much money just in general. And I would just say, if you don't have to spend it, don't do it kind of situation. Like, be very choosy on. Is
this a nice to have or a need to have?
Right. Yeah. Exactly. And so, that's really what I have come down to is, will this benefit me in the long run? And is this an investment, big or small, that I need to make for this business? Right.
Yeah. And in your personal life too,
For sure.
To get those personal, I think a lot of people, if you want to be successful in the restaurant industry, before you ever open, look at your personal life and go, how can I get as lean as possible now?
Absolutely.
What weight can I shed? Because it's going to get lean, or be ready in case it does. So you have some room to get, to work with in case it gets desperate. Sure. So what was the relationship between LaAnn and yourself in terms of business? What lanes were you guys in?
Oh man. Well, working, in 2 different businesses with LaAnn, that's pretty much all it was at that point is, business. Literally we got up in the morning and talked about, the restaurant or, her photography and, what project she had going on. And then, I would come home from work and we would talk about work. And so it was just pretty much all work, and it was hard, and her family, has a history of, how do I put this? Let's just say in the restaurant industry in general, it's really easy to get sucked into going out all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
it's part of the culture. It's why people are drawn to this industry, because we have a good time.
Exactly.
But at what costs?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it literally costs her and John their lives. Honestly, alcoholism is very deadly, and it's really sad that she was so creative and full of life for so long, and then stress. Because restaurants scary. It can be scary. We're doing great right now, but who's to say what next year holds or next month holds? We just literally put out the best product we possibly can and hope that people come.
Yeah.
And I think that she was so stressed constantly that it really affected so much. And once you go down that path, it's really hard to get out.
Yeah. Was it in 2020 she passed? Or 2023? I'm sorry.
2023.
2023.
Yeah.
Do you mind me asking what happened?
I haven't really made it very public, but the doctor pretty much said, stress is a silent killer. And, it's just very unhealthy habits and many other things. And she had a stroke.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
When I go into these interviews, I really try to go into with like an open mind, a clear mind. I don't do a ton of research, and it's because I want to be curious.
Right.
I just can't even imagine what that must be like. The stress of being an owner, with what that brings, and then having the stress of the partner and what they're going through on top of it to compound, and that must have been a really tough time for you. I can only imagine.
It was really, really hard.
How did you handle this? What was it like for you?
Well, I mean, we had been together for 13 years, so I mean, like everything that I knew was, with her, and so it was really, I mean, a shock to my system.
Yeah, it sounds like in terms of the business relationship, like you're the operating partner of the barbecue.
For sure,
it's your core, it's your baby, it's your focus.
Right.
And the photography was her focus.
Right.
So, in terms of what that dynamic looked like in a business partnership, when she passed or she no longer became able to do the work, how did that affect you? Like, were you losing an element of like, what did she control that you were also losing in?
Well, she controlled all the back of house pretty much,
okay.
Like all of
inventory, like purchasing.
Like, I did everything here. I did all of the inventory, all of the ordering, but she did like all of the paperwork aspect on it. So
accounting.
With our accountant, and
accounts receivable, accounts payable, that sort of thing.
All of it.
Yeah.
And that's what she wanted. She wanted to control that, which was fine. So I wasn't familiar with a lot of things that were going on,
right.
And so I had to learn very, very quickly. And it took, lots and lots of meetings with my accountant, and literally the first week, I literally just sat there with my jaw dropped, like, oh my God, like, okay, well, where do we start? And it's just like little by little. It's like, we just, as tasks come up, we take them on kind of situation. And so I have had to learn a lot. And I also rely on my accountant, 100% on a lot of things.
Yeah. This episode is made possible by Restaurant Systems Pro. And at Restaurant Unstoppable, we are huge fans of Restaurant Systems Pro. So much that we are partnering with Restaurant Systems Pro, and they are going live every other week, twice a month. They are going live in Restaurant Unstoppable Network. Fred Langley, the CEO of Restaurant Systems Pro, we will have access to him, and he will go through your P&L. You do not have to be a Restaurant Systems Pro client to take advantage of this. He will literally tear apart your P&L, and he will help you find the gaps so you can increase your profit by 5% or more. He is literally saving people's restaurants in Restaurant Unstoppable Network. If you want to take advantage of not just Restaurant Systems Pro, their budgeting, their costing, their inventory, their labor management, their training, their general ledger, all tied to your POS, this amount of data is insanely ridiculous. Beyond that, he's making himself available to coach you. This is all happening at restaurantunstoppable.com/live. We'll see you there. It's the best. If you're opening a restaurant tomorrow and you're raising money, raise money to have at least 2 year, operational costs, and factor in the money for an accountant and a lawyer. Like, those two things will get you out of jail. You should,
yes.
Literally, it cannot be overemphasized. Where would you be without that accountant that you've had since the very beginning, to have somebody who had a thumb on what was going on?
Honestly, I don't think we would have this place.
Right. It can make or break you. It's the most important outsourced thing.
Absolutely.
I feel like we kind of jumped over a lot of the personal evolution from as you were moving around, going from the quickie location. Mm-hmm. To coming here. Mm-hmm. What were the lessons you learned as your business scaled? And then we can kind of talk about the past year and a half and what that's been like for you.
The past year and a half,
we'll save that. Let's go back to some of the points of evolution. What was, as you guys are scaling, mm-hmm. This is your baby, right? It sounds like she's focused on photography.
Oh, this is your baby. This is my life.
Yeah. So what were your points of evolution? Was it at take me to the first major point of evolution? for you guys?
Man, when we added our second smoker.
Okay. When was that?
That was back on South First.
Okay.
And we were really just running with one smoker. Well, you can only make so much money, running just a specific amount of food on one smoker. And John Lewis was getting into building smokers in general, like for Austin Smoke Works. And so he built the prototype that we ended up buying from him that we still have back there.
Okay.
And so we got to expand, and we weren't having to sleep on the lot pretty much at night because, we had to pull this meat to put this one on
Right.
for, and we actually started to get a little bit more sleep because we had
That's
a little
important.
bit more time and more space. So
Yeah.
that right there was like, we're like, oh,
More volume too,
yeah,
right?
like, holy shit.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Like, this is going better now.
And that was in the first 2 years, right?
Right.
Okay. So now you can do more volume. You have a little more balance in your life. Would you recommend somebody to be in the trailer business to start? Or
Absolutely not.
okay. Why is it like? Get into why you wouldn't recommend it.
Man, I'll tell you what, food truck life is hard.
Yeah.
It's really, really hard. Just the gray water alone will make you just go absolutely absurd, just crazy, crazy.
You don't realize how much water you use until you have to dump it every day.
Oh, I still have. I can hear water running, like from I don't know, across the building. Like even if it's just trickling, I'm like, where's that running water coming from?
Yeah.
Because literally it goes down the sink into a tank, into your gray water tank. You have to pump it out into another tank, into the work truck, and then you got to take all of that all the way to the frickin' commissary.
Yeah.
And then you got to pump it out into the correct.
I live in a
place.
camper. And I'm super
Well,
yeah, like it's amazing. You don't realize how much water you use until you collect it. And you're like, how did I fill that 21 gallon in like a couple days?
I know.
Like washing my hands and doing dishes.
Absolutely crazy.
Yeah, it's
to
crazy.
Me. So it's just, the elements too. Working in the summer here in Texas, it is so hot in that trailer, and you do not have any kind of reprieve.
Yeah.
When we were over at Next Day Gold, and it was like July or August, and I was out there cooking, and I had been in the service trailer all day, and it was like 105 degrees, and I almost passed out. I had to like literally go next door to the bar and like stand in front of one of their AC units because I thought I could not get enough water or Gatorade in my body.
Yeah.
And I was starting to get,
Yeah, this is Texas too.
Yeah.
It's the cool thing about Texas is you get like 10 months of like good season to like where you can like be outside and it's like bearable, maybe 9 months.
I always say it's a learned tolerance too. It gets really hot back there, but we're very, fortunate to have this building where we can come in and cool off a little bit.
Right.
And,
but I guess the point I was trying to make with the food trucks is you get a longer operating season, which is a pro, but like in the middle of the season, like when you're in like July, August, it's like 102 degrees every day.
It is so hot.
Yeah.
And not everybody wants to sit outside and eat,
Right.
meat in the summer.
Right.
But that really didn't affect us a whole lot. We had been busy, of course, and back then, food trucks were, an awesome place to go.
Okay.
And people just loved it. But it's hard.
So you're moving around with the two smokers now. You went from this was at South Lamar, right?
South First Street.
South First Street. And South First Street. Then so you had the two smokers by 2013. Cesar Chavez. Then Stay Gold. Clemal. Am I saying this? So you brought, and then Clemal. And then 2017, was that the next kind of big point of evolution, or was there a point between?
So we added another smoker. I believe I cannot remember if it was on that first Cesar Chavez location or we added it when we got to the second Cesar Chavez location.
Yeah.
But we did add one more smoker.
And at this point, you guys are starting to get the accolades. You're noticed at this point.
For sure.
Yeah. And you said you paid back your investors in the first year?
Yes.
And so now at this point, are you guys making money? Do you at least have fiscal security?
No, we're making money, but
Yeah.
we are also like squirreling away everything to build the business.
Okay. So did you go to investors when it came time to go to the quickie or to open this place, or did you have money put aside?
We had money put aside.
That's awesome.
Yeah. We have never had any investors. We've literally, whatever we save, we put back into the business to grow it.
Was it a percentage of income or a percentage of profit that you were saving? Like, how did you guys know what to put
That's
aside?
a LaAnn question.
Yeah, that's right. That was her lane, right?
Yes.
Do you mind me asking how much money you were able to save in that time?
I mean, I know that our smokers, we had to put down payment on it. So it's like, we're talking about 25 grand right there,
Right.
for a down payment for them to even start building it.
Oh, wow.
And then while
Just
they were
the down
building
payment
it,
was $25,000.
right. They're expensive because we also had to put them on trailers,
Right.
and we'd have to get them permitted through the city of Austin for a food truck permit. So we'd have a 3-compartment sink, hand washing station, the correct fresh and gray water tanks and pump, hot water, blah, blah, blah.
How much did each one of those trailers cost?
I think they were around 50 grand.
50,000.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 100,000 right there. And you got 2 of them in a period of 4 years.
Well, no, the first one was bought with the
business.
With the business.
Then you bought a second one.
Right.
And then you say you bought a third one?
I think the first one was around 30-something grand.
Okay. The second one was around 50.
Right.
But then you said you bought a third one.
Right.
Right. And that was just before going to the quickie?
Yes, I believe so.
So that's
now we have 3 pits.
Yeah, so that's another $100,000 investment after you purchase the business.
Of course.
So that's factored in, and you're putting money aside for the down payment for this location. So
Right. Well, we of course had to add some things like equipment and whatever else going into the quickie picky.
Yeah.
But that honestly, that transition was so seamless and so easy.
what was that like, having your own one spot with a roof,
Bathrooms.
you don't have to worry about commissary?
Dishland. We had a dishland.
Wow.
I know.
What was this like for you?
It was, like kind of a breath of fresh air situation where it's like, wow, even just the security of a building, because our food truck used to get broken into all the time. That's just honestly and unfortunately the nature of the beast. But it was great to have that just security just in general, in that building. And going from a food truck to managing a kitchen like that was actually fantastic. So we weren't just ripping the Band-Aid off and, going into a big building. So that it was like a natural progression, if you will, for the business.
And that was 2017 into 2021? 3 years or around that time?
3 years.
3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Were there challenges associated with this location?
Yeah, sharing a space with a different business is always...
Right.
You're going to have your challenges.
It was a convenience store.
Right.
Was it a win-win in terms did your business bring business to?
Oh, of course.
Yeah, because people are going to get their barbecue and they want a side of chips or a drink.
Right.
Yeah.
So they sold all the alcohol, and all of the drinks. So we honestly, which was fine with me because, we didn't even have to deal with any of that.
Well, you weren't doing that at the food truck. You weren't really doing alcohol sales, were you?
No. We would give away free beer.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, I know.
Too bad I missed the food truck back in the good days. I would have liked you guys. So any lessons during this 3-year period with Quickie? What was the goal to always treat this as a stepping stone to get to the next thing?
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
We knew that we weren't going to be there forever. And that wasn't the goal. But honestly, it was just kind of like, when do we move on? Well, they were looking to kind of sell the quickie picky concept and kind of get out of that building. They have another one that's actually thriving, not too far from here. And then this was their second location, and it just wasn't doing what they wanted it to do. And so they wanted us to buy the concept or get out. And I was like, well, the last thing I want to do is own and or run a convenience store.
Yeah, so you guys got out. What was happening? Was there a period where you guys were kind of like homeless?
No, not at all.
I meant by homeless, I meant like no restaurant home.
Of course. No, we started looking immediately. And we definitely have made our home here on the east side. So staying on the east side was very important to us. And so, we looked around and we just happened to find this place down the street. It is literally like a few blocks from our last location. And somebody else was already going to go in here. And, LaAnn kind of pled our case, kind of like, hey, this is a huge deal for us. We've really... this is perfect.
Why was this location perfect? Tell me the reason why you wanted this spot so badly.
I mean, honestly, the size of it is perfect. Not too big, not too small.
What is the square footage of this location?
Oh my God, you had to ask me that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if I had
sure.
to guess, man, I'm not really. I would say at least 3,000, 4,000.
Yeah, probably.
In that ballpark.
Yeah.
I'm getting kind of good at like getting into space and guessing. But how many seats were you at? You said 110.
About 100.
And what percentage of the space is kitchen to like dining space?
Oh my God, our kitchen's teeny tiny.
So well, you have the back patio too, which is
Right.
production space.
So that was also like something that we were looking for, is a place to put, of course, all of our smokers, which is our main kitchen really.
Yeah.
And a lot of places, didn't have the space that as convenient as this is, because you just go out that back door right there and our smokers are right there. So we can just literally pull all of our food in.
What was the space before you guys took over?
Mongers.
Mongers? What is Mongers?
It was a fish restaurant.
Okay, so full service?
Yes.
Got it. And were they a casualty of pandemic?
No, they moved into a different location.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So in 2021 is when you guys started looking at this space.
Right.
So because of the pandemic, was there a good rate on it, or like what was going on like in the ecosystem here?
I mean, we knew that we could only, we only wanted to pay so much for rent, but we also wanted, a good location, and and honestly, our landlords are the two nicest guys you'll ever meet in your entire life. They're brothers. They come in and hang out with their family. Even if they're in the restaurant, like in the area, they come and drink a beer.
Yeah.
And so that was also a huge bonus. And this was just perfect. We just literally looked around and we were like, we could make this our home.
Yeah. Yeah.
And,
I feel like the location too, East Austin is a great part.
Oh,
I love East Austin.
Yeah, I live in East Austin.
Yeah, I could definitely, if I had to choose a part of Austin, definitely East Austin, or maybe like the hills to the west is another great area.
Of course, it's beautiful.
It's gorgeous. So location, it's a corner lot. So you're on the corner of, what is that? Caesar's, Chavez,
and Clara.
Corner lots are always great. Great curb appeal. You got the volume. I am curious in terms of like rent and volume. Were you guys doing the math ahead of time, being like, okay, with this many seats and this many turns, we should be able to do X amount of volume? And like, what is your occupancy cost? I'm curious. Like, were you factoring that in in terms of like?
I mean, LaAnn honestly had the only restaurant that she'd ever worked in is her dad's restaurant.
Right.
So honestly, she didn't really have the education to even, but we would just ballpark figure it. We just like, okay, well, from the sales that we were doing at the Quickie Picky, we know that we can up it here. And so, I mean, even from the sales from the Quickie Picky, we could probably still afford to come here, but with the advantage of cooking more food.
Alcohol sales.
Yeah, we got a liquor license, which was fantastic, which I'm glad we went for that. And it was just kind of like, okay, let's just, so really it was just kind of like a shot in the dark. And we started with a certain amount of inventory and saw where our sales went, and then kind of upped it and now I have it pretty locked in on exactly what I want to cook.
Got it. So are you doing more volume today than you've ever done?
We are doing a lot. Yes, for sure. Now, I mean, it just like, I don't, and I remember back in the day, like, I mean, we didn't have the smokers though,
right. Well, you're still at your max capacity units of smokers, right? Three smokers. That never.
No, we have 5.
5 now. Okay, so you've almost doubled the amount of smokers you
Right.
have. So when was the peak in terms of volume for you guys? Was it post this location?
I mean, I think that we did massive amounts on that first Cesar Chavez location.
Okay.
But I think just now recently we have it like where it's a steady, like, I mean, we are selling out of exactly what our inventory, I mean, okay, I mean, I think that, I don't even know how to, I mean, yeah, we're doing a lot.
Yeah.
For sure. I mean, I could start going down this whole road about, you know, I mean, just life as a food truck and here in general. But I'll just say that, yeah, we're pumping out a ton of food.
Yeah. I can imagine. I mean, I've seen the lines. I was across the street at Juniper doing an interview with the Hunt brothers, and we wrapped up. I looked outside and I was like, oh, they're doing good. Yeah. So, and that was like at 11 a.m., you know, lines start
for sure
before opening. So, okay, so let's get to the point where, you know, you guys find this location, you're making it work, you have the alcohol sales. Are you more profitable than ever between the 2021 to, you know, until, you know, or when, I guess there was that weird conversation we have to talk about, right? Back to when LaAnn passed, and like how you kind of had to take over her role. Was it, where, in terms of like your peak, was it post Michelin Star? Because I know that's something that you guys just got to. Like, where are you now relative to where you've been in the past with that Michelin Star? I'm curious about that too.
Oh my God, we are busy. Yeah. I mean, it was getting the Michelin Star is, you know, puts a lot of eyes on us,
right?
Literally all over the world, and you know, it's been like that for. I mean, people travel from. I mean, across the globe to come stand in our line to eat our food, and it's been like that for a very long time. But getting that Michelin Star, you know, puts us on a totally different map.
Yeah. Is it a good thing in terms of like, do you feel the pressure now, or do you kind of wish you never got the star because now you got to keep it?
That's funny. I mean, yeah, of course, there's always pressure, but I mean, the pressure is not necessarily because of the Michelin Star. It's because you don't want to disappoint.
Right.
I mean, anybody. I hate to disappoint. It's like literally a fear of mine.
Yeah. And I think I was talking to Chef Leroy and Lewis, and he was talking about basically like people, like the star almost puts like that pressure on you to deliver a Michelin experience, right? And now it's like people come like, oh, like there's so much weight that comes with that star that like people's expectations are almost like if you're not blowing them away, they're like, why did we come here, right? I know.
It's and you know, that is frustrating. It is because they're like, oh, this is Michelin Star, you know. But we do get a lot of really good feedback.
Yeah.
I think our product right now is better than it ever has been. Yeah. I mean, I have a fantastic crew that is extremely consistent, and I rely on them. So, you know, that right there puts me at ease daily, knowing that product will come out and hit that line and it'll be exactly what it needs to be. And, you know, I mean, we're all human, right? So, I mean, yeah, like not every brisket's going to be perfect, but that's what that meat cutter is for, is, you know, quality control.
So what are you doing today that is different than what you've done? Like, how are you better in terms of the product today? Like, why are you better because of the product today?
I mean, I really just, I've just kind of immersed myself. I mean, after LaAnn passed, you know, it's like I really just completely threw myself even more into this business if I could ever. I mean, and just kind of like looked at everything like individually and as a whole and said, you know, like, okay, well, what will make this better? What, you know, where can we go from here? Like, where can we make this business even more interesting too?
Okay, so like, where did you start looking? Like, what were the first thing? Like, where can we make it better from here? Like, what are the biggest things you've done since LaAnn's passing to make that happen?
I have been fairly consistent on like specials.
Okay.
Because we do get a lot of regulars and people who have been eating with us for years and years, and so I really want people to be able to come in here and get, of course, you know, like the things that they usually do, brisket, pork rib, sausage, but then also be like, oh, well, you have this today. And so, or just come in because they see that I have something different on the menu. So I've really, and I feel like it's like keeping it fresh, keeping it interesting, you know, where people are like, well, what is she going to have on the menu today kind of situation. And it also helps me like be creative. And, you know, I love cooking just in general. So I've really kind of, pushed myself to be like creative and, you know, make it better.
So the quality, the creativity, the special is like the doing something different, right? To bring people in that maybe don't want the same thing every time, right? So you're getting loyalty from that side of the business. What about like operationally in terms of like paying attention to the numbers? Because you weren't focused really on the numbers in the past.
Right.
That wasn't your lane. You had to take on that in the past 2 years, really. You had to take on all this other side of the business that you never.
I watch them constantly.
You were paying attention. Yeah.
I mean, I wake up in the morning and like go through the numbers from the day before, but I've already checked them. Like, you know, when 6 o'clock hits and we're done, like I'm on that back of house, you know, on our toast system, like looking at, you know, what we sold here.
Were you doing this prior to LaAnn's death?
No.
Okay. So what was that evolution like for you to build these new habits? And now that since in the past 2 years, since you started paying attention to the data, how have you been acting differently?
I mean, I pay attention to exactly what is done, like from Miguel's trimming in the back, you know, how much, you know, brisket trimming that we have back there, what we can do with it so it doesn't go to waste, instead of just seeing it as like a product, you know.
Yeah. So when you guys opened this location, did you open with toast?
Yes, we did.
Okay.
We went to Toast in 2020.
Okay. And so what is your tech stack today? You're using Toast for your POS. Are you using any other tools in terms of technology, labor management, inventory management? Are you using features that are extensions of Toast?
No, I mean, I just straight up use Toast.
So you're getting your sales, right? How do you know your inventory? How are you like?
I'm fairly old school in a lot of things,
Got it.
like handwritten. Like, I handwrite my payroll,
Got
you know,
it.
and then I keep inventory on my laptop, and you know, also again, you know, my accountant helps me with like, you know, this is what our sales are for this week, and this is what we paid out, and this is, you know, this is your labor and blah blah blah. So, you know, we do it monthly, and so instead of like yearly, so it's like I can see it immediately and then adjust if needed.
Got it. So you started paying attention. Like the first thing you do when you wake up, the last thing you do, you're looking at the numbers. How did that start influencing your like purchasing decisions and things like this? Like have you seen like the margins move? I mean, you have more volume coming in than ever before, right?
Right.
But in terms of like back end operations and like lost costs, has that changed?
Yes. So LaAnn wanted to do a deli situation.
Okay.
You know, like, because we were like smoking meats and then selling and like deli slicing them, which, you know, was great and they were fantastic. But, you know, she really pushed it. Well, you can only keep them for so long, right? So we didn't sell them. We're tossing it, which would just kill me. It would kill me. And I literally lost passion for it again. She also wanted to do a cheese like selection. Well, we're not cheesemongers.
Right.
Ben and I took a cheese course on how to cut, you know, different things and everything, and really just wanted to do it correct. But, you know, people come here for a specific situation. And I would tell LaAnn all the time, like, people are here to get barbecued. They're not here to get a pound of turkey,
right?
You know, deli sliced or whatever.
So did that ever happen? Did you get to the point where you were a deli?
I mean, we have a deli counter, but
Did you backpedal out of that?
I did.
I think that's smart.
That was the first thing that I changed. Is I completely wiped that out.
Focus.
And I'm like, we can stock drinks in here.
Okay. Yeah.
And I know that she's like, you know, like
Shaking
cursing at me from heaven. But she also, we had a champagne and caviar selection as well. Well, again, you know, you can only keep caviar for so long.
Right.
And it's expensive, and we weren't getting cheap caviar either.
Yeah.
And so, you know, before it went bad, we'd have to toss it, and it would just absolutely infuriate me. So I completely took that out of there too.
I think that's smart. Like, the future is doing one thing really well and doing it better than anybody else. Right. You know, and the more you try to do, the more you're spreading yourself thin, the more you're increasing your cost of goods and all this stuff. The more you have to train your staff on these things. You know, do one thing really well. That is definitely a winning formula. So, what in the past year and a half since LaAnn's death, how have you personally grown the most? What are the biggest challenges that you've overcome in that time? Oh
God, so many. I mean, I go to therapy once a week on Mondays, and my therapist has gotten me through a lot. You know, a lot of trauma in the past.
Yeah.
And and we won't go down there. We won't go down that. It's
Hey, you're welcome
it's
to. I won't
too
stop
early
you.
for all of that. So, I really had to kind of find myself, honestly. I had to, kind of, instead of whatever, LaAnn wanted for this place, I did it. And instead, I could now make this what I thought would be successful.
What did you think would be successful?
I mean,
I
honestly.
think we got into it a little bit.
Well,
removing the extra stuff.
For sure. So removing all of that, I feel like the quality of life for my crew is a big deal to me. Just how we treat each other in general. I want them to be able to want to come to work and be happy. That was a big change for me. Not that I'm saying that it wasn't like that before, but LaAnn did put a little bit of stress on all of us all the time. I would always say, LaAnn will be here in 15 minutes, and we are like literally searching for any speck of dust on this floor. And
so it sounds like she was a real like attention to detail type of person, though. It's good
sure.
to have in your corner.
For sure.
But how she handled it, maybe not the best?
How she handled it was not always the best.
Got it.
Which, just people are all different. And, but that was a big deal for me. And then, just really changing some things that she had changed back to how they used to be. And I feel like it was like better.
Okay, so you went back from what she changed. She made changes when we came here, and you went back to what you were.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's smart. So I guess where are you guys today? What is the vision going forward?
Oh, well, I get asked all the time, am I going to open up another one? No. I feel like, honestly, this place is so special. I'm here all the time. I want to be here. I want to pay all of my attention and my detail to this one specific location, and make it the best.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
So many questions to ask you right now. So what does the best look like? I mean, what is the goal with this one unit? What is that vision? What are people saying? What are you doing? What does your life look like in the future?
I mean, I have this building for 15 years, option 5, so 20 total years. I do have some possible projects, coming my direction. Also, what I'm doing to expand is I've got a line of seasonings coming out, and we're bottling our sauce for grocery stores as well. Okay. So that will be hitting this year.
Are you doing that in-house, or are you outsourcing recipe?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, we definitely have to outsource that.
Yeah.
But we have some really fun, some really fun bottles and that we had designed that I'm really excited for. I think that they'll really stand out on the shelf.
So the barbecue is going to be your anchor in terms of brand, but you're looking to increase revenue through kind of retail, essentially taking what you do and getting it into the market. So that's going to be one area of growth for you. But what else? How else can you grow business here?
I've got some things that are possibly heading my direction. Contracts are a thing.
Okay. So can you can you allude in the direction without saying specifically what those things are?
I mean,
is it media of it, or is it
No, it's food related. But again, it's in the very beginning stages. So
is it other concepts?
I mean, I do have another concept built for possible.
I mean, you have for possible
other projects in the future.
Well, you have the stadium location, right? So that's another channel of revenue,
right?
What about I don't know, what are the things that that when you think about your future, what are the things do you want to be here? Do you want to replace yourself? Do you want to bring people behind you?
I mean, I definitely rely on my crew a lot.
Yeah.
And
12 years, Francisco, thank you. That was one of my follow-up questions. 12 years from the beginning almost.
Oh yeah.
That's amazing. That's a testament.
He was my first hire.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah. When we could actually afford an employee, we hired one. My GM Ben actually is about to move to Portland and open up a barbecue restaurant
Oregon or
there.
Maine?
Portland, Oregon.
Okay.
And it'll be his restaurant, but it'll be kind of a sister restaurant.
Got it.
I'm excited for it.
That is really exciting.
Yeah.
I mean, anything we haven't talked to. I mean, I want to talk about how did you keep this employee for 12 years? Like, he was a guy that greeted me when I got here this morning.
Of course.
I mean, that alone in this market is so hard to do. Like, how much of that has contributed to your success?
Oh my God.
You know?
Well, Francisco is like solely responsible for our rib recipe. Like, I've only had to cook it like, I don't know, 6 times total in all of the years that we've been open. And so, and he gets crazy accolades for those ribs. Yeah. And I, give him 100% credit on it. And I'm like, well, that's not my recipe. Yeah. Like, I have nothing to do with that. That is Francisco.
I mean, that's amazing that you have somebody like that. I think the owners listening to this right now, to have that anchor, like, what has that freed you up to do? Or like to have that one person that you can just rely on, that is so huge.
Yeah, for sure. And, his wife works with us, and then 2 of his nephews, his niece and his son. So we've just kind of like really built this place with a lot of his family.
Yeah. What are your biggest challenges today?
Biggest challenges. I mean, there's different challenges every day.
As your staff is surrounding you, I'm asking you these questions.
Good morning, Frankie.
Thank you. So I guess as you go forward, as you grow, as you're getting this new attention, this new national acclaim, that not that you're not used to that, but like, what are your current challenges moving forward?
I mean, I would just say, consistency in general. I mean, that's, that's like my main focus. I preach it constantly.
How are you combating consistency?
I mean, just making sure that everybody has the tools to do their job correctly. Open communication, too, is a big deal with me and my crew. If they ever need anything, like, I definitely am always there. And it makes the working environment better. It allows them to do their job correctly. And then, therefore, you get exactly what you need.
How do you create that space of safe, open environment, communication?
I mean, I think it's just my personality, honestly. Yeah. These guys are my family, and we all joke around. Nobody's safe around here is what I say. Everybody gets the same treatment, including myself. Like, my kitchen ladies, it's mom and daughter back there. Yeah. And, they give me more hell than anybody. Yeah. It's like, in
the perfect world, if you can like write your future, what does that look like for you? Like, what does that look like for the barbecue? What does that look like for you? What does it look like for your staff?
I would really love for this place to live on after, I'm, done working. I think that, a legacy situation would be fantastic. What that looks like in the future, I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
But, I really just kind of like, it's a day-by-day situation. It's like conquering small battles and, just through the day, through the week.
Yeah. Anything we haven't discussed up to this point that you want to make sure comes out of the conversation? Advice, wisdom, things you wish you knew, things that we missed by accident? I didn't pull back the layer far enough.
I mean, barbecue's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard.
What are the hardest parts? Like, what are the things that people don't consider when they want to get into
barbecue?
It's
manual labor.
Yeah.
It is absolutely manual labor.
Yep.
It's hot. It's dirty. I mean, like, you're working with, in the elements with fire, with, I mean, it's fairly crazy.
Yep.
But, even just like the grease and like the, everything in the smokers, it's just, it's not an easy job, and people romanticize it constantly, which is great because, it puts more eyes on barbecue in general and has people, really just infatuated with it, which is where we shine, I feel, is they come in and they ask questions, and I'm more than happy to just answer pretty much any questions
Yeah.
anybody has. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I also want to say that I love that. I don't think there's another podcast like mine where like the space around you has come alive. If you're watching the video of this interview, like we got here, all the chairs were up. It was morning. It was still a little like dusky. The space has slowly been coming alive. Your team has been very respectful and quiet. Thank you so much. And we just have people doing prep work behind you on video now. I just think it's such a cool, like, I don't know. I just love it. I love that we're like a part of this space and this is going down.
They're so used to this.
Yeah.
They just come in and they, I mean, it's like and a lot of the times it just depends on who's working, honestly. It's usually kind of a quiet morning.
Right. They're probably like, shoot, we have to be quiet this morning.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Or I'll come in and be like, hey guys, what's going on? And they're just like...
So I'm curious about your thoughts of the future of the industry. So like the mission statement is to inspire, empower, and transform the industry. Are there transformation? Is there a change do you think the industry needs to have, if any, or is it good the way it is?
Oh, that's a really good question. I mean, change is always scary just in general. But for myself, I really, I wish that the food costs would go down.
How do we make that happen?
I don't specifically. I have no idea. But I mean, meat prices keep going up.
Can I be honest?
Yes.
I hope food costs continue to go up.
Oh.
You know why? Because I don't think we put enough value on food.
That's probably true.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that in order for farmers to be taken care of, in order for local business to be taken care of, in order to decentralize and to make the food system better and healthier, it has to go up.
You're right about that. I just, I always think about like that bottom line situation.
I know, but I think it's not. It's like, listen, like I think there's a lot of hope too, because I think the consumers' values are changing.
Yeah.
Like I think they're starting to realize it doesn't take much research to realize that like what we're putting into our bodies isn't good for us and the environment, right? And people are starting to care about that selfishly because they want to be healthier.
Oh yeah, I mean that's why we went to an all-natural product.
Right.
I mean,
when did that happen? Recently?
No. God, it's probably been about, 9 years, I believe, 8 or 9 years ago. We went from a commodity brisket to a all natural. We also went with Hartley Ranch, which is their ranches outside of Dallas area over there.
Nice.
So it's like fairly local.
Yeah, it's not easy to support local farms.
Right.
It's not easy to pay your staff a living wage.
Yeah, I mean, Justin Hartley, I mean, I see him all the time. He's the nicest man ever. And, I have got his number in my phone. And that's, not a lot of people can say, I know where my cows come from.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
I actually interviewed Dean and Peeler. I don't know if you're familiar with Dean. Because that's who Leroy and Lewis use, and he was talking about the vertical integration that they're doing there to lower the cost, or to like kind of, is there anything unique about this farm that I should be aware of that is why you're working with him? Like, what is the appeal? What is the draw there for you?
Well, I believe it's an 8-generation run ranch. Cool. So Justin is because I was just talking to his wife the other day, and it's like 7 or 8. And he went to Harvard Business, and he got into running the ranch, and was like, you know what, like he really wanted to capitalize on the yield of like the cow, like what you actually sell, right? Okay. So he made the legs shorter, the head smaller, and so therefore you get a better yield, and
there's
you
no
don't have
part
a
of that
lot
cow that's not being
waste.
used to cook.
Right.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Among many other things, but that I thought was extremely interesting.
Nice. I've loved today's conversation. I know it wasn't easy. I asked personal questions. You've handled them like a champion. Thank you so much. A couple questions before we officially wrap up.
Sure.
Again, the mission statement is to inspire, empower, and transform the industry. We're going to do that by transforming one owner at a time. So how have you personally transformed? How are you a better woman today than the woman you were when you got started in this industry?
Oh, man. I mean, I'm a completely different person. I am today than I was even just, a year and a half ago, honestly. Or, of course, when I was 30 years old when we opened this place. And I mean, I'm more organized. I'm educated a whole lot more now than I was in the very beginning, on really every aspect of this business. Personally, like, I live a fairly drama-free life.
That's awesome. Not everybody can say that. Congratulations on that. So what is one thing about your business, whether it be a system, a process, a core value, that makes you truly unstoppable?
I mean, I guess just, trust.
Yeah.
Trust is a big deal.
That's huge. How do you find that trust?
Well, it's kind of, a case-by-case basis.
Yeah. Yeah. But you got to give it before you get it, right?
Of course.
Yeah. I love it. Ooh, we got some sirens. Pause here.
I'm surprised it's the only ones.
Hopefully just one. All right. This is the last question before I have you call somebody out. That's how I found you. Actually, Casey Hensley called you a past guest on the show. Huge supporter of Restaurant Unstoppable. Thank you, Casey, for making this happen. But this next question is really the call. This is the eye roller right here. So get ready for it. If you got the news, you'd be leaving this world tomorrow. All the memories of you, your work, and your restaurants would be lost with your departure. With the exception of 3 pieces of wisdom you could leave behind for the good of humanity and your legacy, what would those 3 pieces of wisdom be?
Oh, my God. Why do you have to ask questions like this? What time is it? It's not even 10 o'clock.
You got the floor, right? That was one of the questions that was on that list.
I don't know. Shit. Creativity, I guess, is one.
Number 1.
Work ethic's a big one.
Number 2.
For me. And fun. Always to have fun.
Yeah. Number 3. This has been so much fun, Allie. Who do you respect and admire in the industry? Somebody that, if they were a guest on this podcast, somebody who's doing good food, treating their employees right, profitable, fiscally responsible, making money. Mm-hmm. Somebody who's got something to share. Who's that for you?
Man, there's and the barbecue in general, just
restaurants, food and beverage, hospitality, anywhere in the country. Doesn't have to be Texas.
I'm friends with a few people in the restaurant industry. Barbecue in general is really hard. Tom Michelwaite is a friend of mine. He's a really nice guy. He really treats his staff fantastic, and he works hard.
That's Tom Michelwaite?
Yes.
And where is
Michelwaite Craft Meats.
Michelwaite Craft. Wait. Am I saying it correctly?
Michelwaite.
Thwaite. Thank you. Michelwaite Craft Meats.
Michelwaite.
Look, I'm coming after you, Tom. I'd love to get you on the show.
Tom's a sweetheart.
And how can we connect with you? Maybe we want to come work for you. Maybe we want to look you up online because we're in Austin soon and we want to check out your barbecue. What's the best way to connect?
Website, labarbecue.com.
If you want to find the episode and look at the show notes, and we'll link to any tools or services recommended and how to connect with Allie over there. And just thank you so much for taking the time to get vulnerable, to share your story, your knowledge, your mentorship. I cannot do what I do without people like you. There is no questioning. You are unstoppable.
Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you.